It's that time again. Main Man T. Back for the Bro Code Podcast. Produced by Kennedy Lucas.
What's good, family? You are now rocking with the realest, the Bro Code Podcast. Where the vibes are tight, the convo is fire, and the code, man, it's sacred. It's your boy, Terry Lester on the mic, coming at you loud and live from May 15th, 2025. We ain't just talking. Nah, we building. From the culture to the come-up. From late-night group chats to grown man business. This show right here is a safe zone for unfiltered real talk. But today, today it's something different. 'Cause I ain't riding solo on this one. Nah, I got my brother, my day one, the man with the golden takes. Wyatt in the building.
What it do? What it do? Y'all already know I had to pull up and drop some heat. Terry said, let's shake up the mic, and I said, say less. We here to talk facts, laugh hard, and maybe ruffle a few feathers. Y'all know how we do.
We talking it deep today. Relationships, hustle mentality, the state of hip-hop, and why you don't text your ex after 2 a.m. I'm looking at you, bruh.
Bro, if your playlist still got her Spotify wrapped on it, it's time to let go.
Facts. So pour up your drink, kick back, and lock in. 'Cause this is a Bro Code Podcast, and we only speak what's real. Here's the latest Wyatt. The 25th Annual BET Awards will take center stage on June 9th, 2025, at the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles, promising a high-energy night packed with unforgettable performances, legendary tributes, and a celebration of Black excellence in entertainment. With Kevin Hart set to host, the BET Awards continue their tradition of recognizing the achievements of Black creatives across music, film, television, and sports. This year's show also marks a special milestone for one of BET's most iconic programs, 106 & Park, which will be honored with a nostalgic reunion and live tribute on stage. Performance lineup: New Generation meets Legends. As expected, the BET Awards 2025 lineup is a bold reflection of today's top-tier talent and tomorrow's icons. The show will feature live performances from Lil Wayne, a hip-hop pioneer with a legacy that continues to shape rap. His return to the BET stage is always a cultural moment. Glorilla, one of the hottest breakout stars in recent years. Her energy and unique voice make her one to watch. Teyana Taylor. More than a singer, Taylor is a choreographer, director, and creative force who brings full-on performance art to every appearance. Playboy Cardi. With a cult-like fan base and unmatched stage presence, Cardi's appearance is sure to spark a reaction. Leon Thomas, an artist who's evolved from acting to music. Thomas offers a soulful, genre-blending sound that adds variety to this year's lineup. This mix of veteran names and rising stars keeps the show feeling both nostalgic and forward-thinking. Kendrick Lamar dominates with 10 nominations. No surprise here. Kendrick Lamar is leading the pack with 10 nominations. With tracks that blend activism, storytelling, and lyrical prowess, Kendrick's ongoing dominance reaffirms his place as one of the greatest rappers of our generation. Kendrick is nominated in major categories like Album of the Year, Best Male Hip-Hop Artist, and Video of the Year, among others. His work continues to influence not only hip-hop, but mainstream culture as a whole. Not far behind him are Doekiai, Future, and Glorilla, each securing 6 nominations. These artists represent a range of sounds, from trap and Randy B to alternative hip-hop, highlighting the genre's diversity. 106 & Park Reunion, a cultural homecoming. This year marks the 25th anniversary of BET's 106 & Park, and the network is celebrating in a big way. 106 & Park was more than just a countdown show. It was a heartbeat of urban music culture in the 2000s. Teenagers rushed home after school to watch music videos, see celebrity interviews, and vote for their favorite artists. Whether it was Beyoncé's legendary performances, Prince's Lifetime Achievement Award, or Nipsey Hussle's posthumous tribute, the BET Awards have provided some of the most memorable and emotional moments in award show history. This year, that tradition continues, with a deep commitment to both honoring the past and pushing the culture forward. The evolution of BET's influence. As media consumption habits evolve, so too has BET. From launching BET Plus and streaming options to creating viral digital content, the brand is adapting while staying rooted in its original mission. The BET Awards remain a key touchpoint for the network, uniting generations through music, fashion, and unapologetic celebration of Black culture. It's not just a show, it's a cultural reset every summer. What makes a great BET Award show? If you're tuning in for the first time, here are a few things you can always expect from the BET Awards. High-octane performances. BET is known for letting artists bring their full creativity to the stage. Bold fashion moments. From classic suits to daring gowns, the red carpet never disappoints. Tributes and recognition. The Humanitarian Award, Lifetime Achievement Award, and a Memoriam segment all remind viewers of the bigger picture. Viral surprises. From Beyoncé's surprise performances to on-stage reunions, there's always a moment that takes social media by storm. A night for the culture. The 2025 BET Awards aren't just another award show. They're a celebration of a global culture that shapes music, fashion, and entertainment. With a lineup that bridges generations, tributes that honor the past, and nominees pushing the art form forward, the night is guaranteed to make an impact. Whether you grew up watching 106 in Park or you're a new fan discovering artists like Glorilla, this is one night you won't want to miss.
All right, Terry. Now everyone has been talking about it. Cassie was recently questioned about Diddy's drug use throughout their relationship, and she alleged that he was dependent on painkillers. Cassie was cross-examined during Diddy's federal sex trafficking trial today and recalled the time the mogul overdosed at the Playboy Mansion. The incident took place in February of 2012 during a party. Was that around the time Whitney Houston died? I believe so, the songstress began, per Complex. That evening we had a freak-off. We went to a sex club in San Bernardino. And then he had a party at the Playboy Mansion that night, and I went home. Cassie was recently questioned about Diddy's drug use throughout their relationship, and she alleged that he was dependent on painkillers. Cassie was cross-examined during Diddy's federal sex trafficking trial today and recalled the time the mogul overdosed at the Playboy Mansion. The incident took place in February of 2012 during a party. Was that around the time Whitney Houston died? I believe so, the songstress began, per Complex. That evening we had a freak-off. We went to a sex club in San Bernardino. And then he had a party at the Playboy Mansion that night, and I went home. From what Diddy told me, he took a really strong opioid that night, but we didn't know what happened, she added. So, we took him to the hospital. Cassie was then asked whether or not her and Diddy were addicted to painkillers throughout their entire relationship. Very much so, she responded. As for what else happened in court today, jurors were shown a gallery of pictures and videos captured during Diddy's freak-offs. Cassie identified herself and various other individuals featured in the gallery. At one point, she described one of the photos in detail. "There's baby oil on me," she said. "I am standing there during a freak-off with a candle and lubricant on the table." Jonathan Oddie, the man who alleged in a 2018 interview that he was Diddy's sex slave, was also identified in the gallery. Several text messages between Cassie and Diddy were also read aloud in court. In some of them, she expressed interest in sleeping with the Bad Boy founder. "I'm always ready to freak off, it can be whenever," she wrote in another. Cassie accuses Diddy of coercing her into participating in freak-offs. She alleges that she initially did so to please her then-partner, but later did so out of fear. Cassie has been testifying in Diddy's ongoing criminal trial since Tuesday and will return to the stand on Friday. Cassie testified that she had some jealousy of Ms. Porter, referring to Diddy's late partner, Kim Porter, during his criminal trial on Thursday in New York City. While the defense questioned her in cross-examination, she admitted that she used to resent Diddy spending holidays with his family and Porter instead of her. Cassie has been testifying in Diddy's ongoing criminal trial since Tuesday and will return to the stand on Friday. Cassie testified that she had some jealousy of Ms. Porter, referring to Diddy's late partner, Kim Porter, during his criminal trial on Thursday in New York City. While the defense questioned her in cross-examination, she admitted that she used to resent Diddy spending holidays with his family and Porter instead of her. Diddy and Porter had a long-lasting on-and-off relationship from 1994 until 2007. They shared a son, Christian, and twin daughters, Jessie and Lila. Porter ended up dying as a result of lobar pneumonia in 2018. Cassie's feelings about her speak to the defense's opening statements, in which they described the trial as being about love and jealousy and money. Elsewhere during cross-examination, Cassie revealed that Diddy once caught on to her struggles with drug addiction and attempted to help. "I lost all sense of smell and taste when I woke up, and I had numbing in my arm," she said about that period of time, as caught by CNN. The Shade Room additionally reports that she said Diddy told dealers in Los Angeles to stop supplying her with drugs.
Now on to the sports news, folks. With a second remaining in Sunday's Game 4, Denver Nuggets center Nikola Jokic called for the ball after Jalen Williams hit a pair of free throws to push the Oklahoma City Thunder's lead to 5 points. After receiving the inbounds pass from Michael Porter Jr., Jokic launched the longest shot of these NBA playoffs, literally and figuratively. His football-style toss from 81 feet out sailed a bit short and wide, an air ball that Nuggets reserve center DeAndre Jordan dodged on the baseline after beginning his walk on the bench to the home locker room as the buzzer sounded. It wouldn't have mattered if Jokic had miraculously made the shot. It wasn't even a one-possession game. But as Jokic later pointed out in a matter-of-fact tone, it wasn't impossible for the Nuggets to force overtime. Just improbable to the nth degree. Maybe they'll foul me and maybe they'll get a tech. Jokic told ESPN, "You never know what's going to happen." This miss made Jokic's 3-game shooting slump appear a little uglier, putting another dent in his uncharacteristically low efficiency. He shot 33.3% from the floor, 21 of 63, and 18.2% from three-point range, 4 of 22. In that span, one of the most prominent storylines of this series against the top-seeded Thunder and the NBA's stingiest defense. The heaves have become something of a habit. If there's even the slightest chance a shot could impact the outcome of the game, Jokic will let it fly, no matter how far he is from the hoop or how far-fetched the fling might be. Those prayers provide a glimpse into competitive character of 3-time MVP, who has made historical production and efficiency seem routine, despite an approach that runs counter to modern-day NBA's numbers-conscious culture. "I don't care about the percentage," Jokic said. "I think every guy should shoot it. Why not? It's an opportunity to score, so I will shoot it any time." Subtracting Jokic's 5 end-of-quarter heaves from the backcourt during that span would have given his efficiency numbers a significant boost. He has had a total of 6 heaves in the series and 7 this postseason. But Jokic couldn't care less about protecting his shooting percentages. Nobody should care about that at this time of the year. Jokic scoffed after scoring 44 points on 17 of 25 shooting in the Nuggets Game 5 loss Tuesday. According to Basketball Reference, Jokic tied for the league lead in backcourt heaves attempted with 8 in 2023-24, when he won his 3rd MVP award. Jokic's policy to never turn down a long-distance shot to protect his shooting percentages, a common ritual throughout the league, turned into somewhat of an obsession this season. He hunts heave opportunities, attempting 22 in 2024-25. The most by any player in a regular season during the 29 years the website has records of the statistic. His 7 playoff heaves so far are 5 more than any other player this postseason. Jokic still shot a career-best 41.7% from three-point range this season. There were significant stretches of the season when Jokic's missed heaves were the reason he wasn't leading the league in three-point percentage. Most great shooters care about their stats. Bottom line, Nuggets interim coach David Adelman told ESPN, "We've seen a lot of examples of guys taking shots just as the clock goes off, or making that late pass to not take a bad shot. For Nikola to shoot the percentage he shoots and still shoot those shots, because, hey, there's a chance it goes in and a chance it wins you the game, just shows how unselfish he is in all ways." Jokic was ready when Monty McCutchen, the NBA's senior vice president of referee operations, entered the Nuggets team meeting room at their Abu Dhabi hotel in October. A representative from the league's officiating department meets with each team every preseason about rule changes and emphases. They are typically pretty mundane meetings, aside from some chuckling among players when they see which of their counterparts are featured in video clips prepared by the league. But Jokic had a bone to pick. He knew that the league intended to crack down on tactics that savvy players, when their teams are protecting a lead in the fourth quarter, would use to burn the clock before inbounding the ball after an opponent scores. I don't think that's the biggest problem we have in the league, and especially with officiating, Jokic later grumbled. Jokic just happens to be a master of those dark arts. He has perhaps the best hands in the league, but he'd often pretend to fumble the ball in such instances. His basketball IQ is at a genius level, but figuring out whether he or a teammate would inbound the ball in these cases would occasionally burn several seconds. He boasts that he stole 25 seconds on one possession last season. When McCutcheon mentioned the league's intention to eliminate those time-wasting tactics, Jokic pounced, peppering him with several hypothetical scenarios to see how referees would respond. He immediately had 4 other ways that were within the rules and within the spirit of the game and had questions, Adelman said. He already knew. He had already thought about this. It's all about just winning the game with him, as good as he can, just finding a way to win a game. Those tactics can help squeeze out tight victories, but they are a terrible way to chase stats. Jokic, 30, already ranks 3rd in NBA history with 164 career triple-doubles, trailing only teammate Russell Westbrook and Hall of Famer Oscar Robertson. Jokic has finished one assist or rebound shy so frequently that those stat lines have been dubbed a somber double, a nod to his Serbian hometown. He has 64 of those, 47 of which have occurred in Denver wins. How many more triple-doubles could Jokic have had without his extraordinary time-wasting tactics? Who cares, he replied. I think it's funny. His stats are his stats, and he doesn't chase them. Nuggets wing Christian Braun told ESPN. It's just how good he is. It truly is his impact. He gets 30, 20, and 20, and that's literally his impact on the game. Jokic pays close attention to time and score during games. He pays no mind to individual numbers. At home, watching the stats, analyzing stats, that's not for players. Nuggets assistant coach OG Stojakovic told ESPN. That's for your coaches. So never, ever, it's forbidden for the players to look at the stats during the game. The Nuggets coaches track Jokic's statistics for fun and entertainment, not just for possible strategic input. Denver assistant coach Popeye Jones has a large collection of box scores that have been signed by Jokic. The big man has produced several unprecedented box score lines and a lot of others that fall in the category of not since Wilt Chamberlain. When Jokic has a historic outing, Jones usually brings his box score into the locker room and asks the big man to autograph it. Jokic occasionally expresses surprise before putting pen to paper. As Jones told ESPN, sometimes he'll say to me, "What happened? What did I do tonight?" Peyton Watson listened intently as Jokic barked out instructions across the lane between a pair of Anthony Davis free throws with 0.3 seconds left in the third quarter of a late November game. That's not enough time to catch and shoot, but Jokic wanted to make sure that he got an attempt up anyway, hoping to pad Denver's 16-point lead. He ordered Watson to loft the inbounds pass up high toward the big man's right hand, sort of like a post-entry pass. Except Jokic would be standing just above the block on the side of the crypto, calm arena court opposite of the Nuggets basket. Okay, I guess, Watson thought to himself at the time. What's your plan? Jokic was still formulating his plan as Watson's pass floated toward him. I don't know. Can I just punch the ball? Jokic said, I think you can do that. So I was kind of trying to push/punch in the same moment. Just like, why not? What if it goes in? It was officially recorded as a 71-foot jump shot, but it most closely resembled a volleyball serve. For a couple of seconds as the ball traveled in the air, it looked like it had a chance to actually go in, ending up missing the basket by mere inches. I'm thinking, bro, if this goes in, I'm part of one of the greatest plays in history, Watson told ESPN. I've never seen a shot so outlandish get so close to the rim. It was crazy. Jokic wanted to get another shot in an early March home game after the Phoenix Suns scored with 0.2 seconds remaining in the first quarter. He raised his right hand to indicate where he wanted the inbounds pass, but much to Jokic's chagrin, Porter didn't get the message. Porter dropped the ball by Jokic's feet, who disgustedly bent over to pick it up with both hands. Jokic chunked the ball to the other end of the court after the buzzer, slumped his shoulders, and muttered to himself as he slowly walked to the bench, perturbed that he had been deprived of the opportunity at one of the lowest possible percentage shot attempts. I did. Jokic said, sheepishly admitting his moment of pouting. I think it's an opportunity. Why not? It's 3 points. It can be a game changer. Jokic's philosophy hasn't borne much fruit. He's 2 of 50 on heaves in the backcourt in his career, plus another 0 of 12 in the playoffs, although he has made several attempts in the 40-foot-plus range. Both of his backcourt buckets occurred on one-handed tosses this season. A 66-footer at the end of the third quarter to stretch the Nuggets' lead over the Sacramento Kings to 25. I knew it was in, Jokic said during his post-game interview with Altitude Sports. And a 63-footer to put Denver up by 10 at the half over the Utah Jazz. According to ESPN research, Jokic's pair of successful heaves were the 2 longest-made shots in the league this season. He's one of only 2 players in the past 25 years to have a pair of 60-foot-plus buckets in a season, joining Hall of Famer Vince Carter in 2015-16. Jokic also had 12 attempts during the regular season that were longer than his 66-footer, including 4 attempts from 80 feet or farther. On multiple occasions, Jokic grabbed a defensive rebound, swiftly pivoted, and fired away. The possibility of 3 points, no matter how slim, means much more to Jokic than shooting percentage points. Serbians have something that we call basketball gods, Stojakovic said. If you play the game in the wrong way, and if you don't respect the game, basketball gods are going to punish. Same thing. If you play basketball in the right way, basketball gods are going to reward. So you try not to cheat the game. He's trying to win every exact little margin.
The Western Conference semifinals between the Denver Nuggets and Oklahoma City Thunder are a matchup between the likely 2025 NBA MVP and runner-up, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Nikola Jokic. Gilgeous-Alexander averaged 32.7 points, 6.4 assists, and 5.0 rebounds in the regular season, aiding Oklahoma City's run to a league-best 68-14 record. Jokic, a 3-time MVP award winner, had one of his best seasons statistically. His 29.6 points and 10.2 assists per game were both career highs. He also averaged 12.7 rebounds, the second most of his career. It's the 8th time since 1990 that the top 2 in MVP voting have met in a playoff series. 5 of those occurrences have been in the NBA Finals, and 4 of those included Michael Jordan. The team with the MVP winner has won 5 times. Here's a look back at each NBA playoff series since 1990 that included the top 2 in MVP voting. The last Thunder player to win the MVP award before Gilgeous-Alexander, Westbrook, averaged a triple-double in the regular season en route to the award. Harden had a stellar year as well, with 29.1 points, 11.2 assists, and 8.1 rebounds per game. The former teammates matched up in the first round that postseason, with the No. 3 seed Rockets winning in 5 games. Westbrook averaged a whopping 37.4 points alongside 11.6 rebounds and 10.8 assists. Harden averaged 33.2 points per game himself, marking the second time a runner-up has defeated the MVP in a series since 1990. Curry outdueled Harden not only to win MVP but also for a spot in the 2015 NBA Finals as the top 2 Western Conference seeds faced off. In earning the first MVP of his career, Curry averaged 23.8 points and 7.7 assists in the regular season, including a league-high 286 three-pointers made. Harden enjoyed a breakout campaign with a then-career-high 27.4 points per game. The 67-win Warriors opened a 3-0 series lead against the Rockets, eventually winning in 5. Curry and Harden each had a 40-point game, 40 for Curry in Game 3 and 45 for Harden in Game 4. The third MVP in 4 seasons for James came in trademark fashion as he averaged 27.1 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 6.2 assists. Durant held his own with 28.0 points and 8.0 rebounds per game, but he received just 24 first-place votes compared with James' 85. Facing off in the 2012 NBA Finals, the two went head-to-head in a tight series. After a Game 1 Thunder victory, Durant and James scored 32 points each in Game 2, which the Heat won. Durant averaged just over 30 points in the series, while James averaged 28.6 points, 10.2 rebounds, and 7.4 assists. To date, this is the last time an MVP winner and runner-up faced off in the finals. Arguably one of the most iconic series in NBA history, Jordan's fifth MVP campaign propelled him to his sixth championship. He averaged 28.7 points per game in the regular season, his lowest in a full campaign since he was a rookie. Malone averaged 27.0 points and 10.3 rebounds. Jordan comfortably won the MVP, earning 1,084 total votes compared with Malone's 842. He proved why he won in the finals against Malone and the Jazz, scoring at least 30 points in 4 of 6 games. Malone held his own, though, with 25.0 points and 10.5 rebounds per game. In the clinching Game 6, Jordan dropped 45 points and hit the go-ahead basket to cap Chicago's second three-peat of the decade. Malone claimed his first MVP award in one of the closest races in league history. The Jazz star had 63 first-place votes and 986 total points compared with 52 and 957 for Jordan. Even though Malone won the MVP, Jordan got the most important trophy that season, the Larry O'Brien. He averaged 32.3 points, 7.0 rebounds, and 6.0 assists in the finals, while Malone tallied 23.8 points and 10.3 rebounds per game. Jordan and Drexler were often compared to each other heading into the 1992 finals, and the MVP race only added to those discussions. Jordan took care of that one comfortably, earning 900 total votes while Drexler had 561. The finals brought a similar result. In Game 1 of the finals, Jordan erupted for a 35-point first-half performance that included the iconic shrug after he connected on his sixth three-pointer in the second quarter. Jordan dominated the Trailblazers, averaging 35.8 points, 6.5 assists, and 4.8 rebounds. Drexler averaged 24.8 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 5.3 assists. The second of Jordan's 5 MVP awards was the first one that coincided with a championship. His strong regular season included 31.5 points per game, and he earned 891 of a maximum 960 votes. Lakers star Johnson averaged 19.4 points and 12.5 assists. Facing one of the NBA's biggest names on the brightest stage, Jordan elevated his play to win a title. He averaged 31.2 points and 11.4 assists per game as the Bulls won the series in 5. Next on the Bro Code podcast, we explain on how the Giants ended up with Dart, Wilson, and Winston at QB. 48 hours before one of the worst seasons in New York Giants history officially came to a close, General Manager Joe Schoen and Coach Brian Daboll sat down for a meeting with owner John Mara that lasted several hours. They had to explain what went wrong and how they were going to move forward, particularly at the quarterback position. It was on that final Friday of the 2024 regular season that Schoen and Daboll stated their case to return despite a 3-win showing and laid the groundwork for reshaping their quarterback room. Per a source with knowledge of the conversation, they outlined all the potential quarterback options. From the top of the draft with Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and Jackson Dart, to potential free agents such as Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, to potential trade and cut casualties including Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, and Aaron Rodgers. They talked about the possibility of adding a veteran, or veterans, in addition to landing a quarterback in the draft. At least one of each was preferred. Mara and fellow owner Steve Tisch would speak more over that final weekend and come to the conclusion that Schoen and Daboll would ultimately be retained. The quarterback plan fit what they were looking to achieve this upcoming season, immediately produced better results while simultaneously addressing their one issue of finding a quarterback of the future. Winston and Wilson were signed in March. Holdover Tommy DeVito was retained prior to free agency. The Giants traded back into the first round to take Dart 25th overall out of Ole Miss at the end of April. Dart is the first quarterback drafted since Schoen and Daboll took over in 2022. "It's been exhausting, to be honest with you," Schoen said after the draft of the quarterback search. "It was a journey that took multiple years and included several pit stops." Per sources with knowledge of the Giants' draft strategy, they would have traded up for Jaden Daniels and Drake May in 2024 if Washington and New England were amenable. They would have tried to trade for the first overall pick this season if the Tennessee Titans were willing. Instead, the Giants' overtures were rebuffed on both occasions. The quarterback room the Giants settled on is eclectic, to say the least. There is the image-conscious Wilson, the gregarious Winston, the swaggy Dart, and the local darling in DeVito. You need a reality show for that, quarterbacks room, one NFL coach said. But Sean and Dable didn't assemble this group strictly for entertainment purposes. Their success will be determined by how many wins they produce, both this season and into the future. It wasn't as if this was always their intended combination of quarterbacks. It's just the way it all unfolded. The Giants had inquired about Stafford prior to the trade deadline this past season, per multiple sources within the league. The Rams were fluttering around .500 at the time, and there were whispers about the veteran's future. It was more of a check-in to see where the situation stood rather than a serious inquiry. But the Giants would have been foolish not to at least gauge the possibility when a quarterback of that caliber became available, given their needs at the position at the time. It's why they re-engaged in February when the Rams gave Stafford's agent, Jimmy Sexton, permission to speak with other clubs because they were at an impasse about his salary. It led to a 5-week dance where the Giants tried to pry Stafford from the Rams. They were willing to offer in the range of $50 million per season, a source with knowledge of negotiations told ESPN at the NFL Scouting Combine in early March. The Raiders eventually got into the mix as well, but in the end Stafford didn't really want to uproot his family. He got 2 years and $84 million to stay in Los Angeles, less than what the Giants were willing to pay. I never really wanted to leave, Stafford would say later. As this process reinforced, getting a quarterback can be difficult. It's not always within the team's control. With Stafford's situation approaching a resolution on the final day of February, the combine was nearing completion as well. The Giants would have the projected top 3 quarterbacks, Ward, Sanders, and Dart, in for visits that first week of March. In the meantime, they had turned their attention to Rodgers, among other veterans. A source with knowledge of the quarterback market told ESPN at the Combine to watch out for Rodgers making the switch across town. It wasn't exactly the cleanest of fits, with Rodgers' Jets career lacking any tangible success. Did it actually make sense for the Giants off 3-14 to want a 41-year-old, or for him to want them? There was a point during the multi-week dalliance that it seemed like it might happen. Rodgers had a one-on-one conversation with Dable to explore if it made sense on a football level, a source with knowledge of the conversation confirmed. A free agent for the first time in his career, Rodgers had the Giants and several others playing a waiting game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are still in that position almost 2 months later. But eventually the Giants pivoted. The top available options were Wilson, Winston, and Joe Flacco. Of that group, New York looked at Wilson as the best starting option remaining. That was their desired goal: find someone who gave them the best opportunity to win games this season. We're going to look for the best player available that can help us win games in 25, General Manager Sean said at the Combine. That's what we're going to do. The Giants were juggling the Wilson and Winston situations for weeks in late March. A source familiar with Wilson's thinking told ESPN at the start of the offseason that Wilson was interested in making a move to New York. But Winston signed first on March 21st, later saying he knew the Wilson deal was likely on the horizon. Winston's was a 2-year deal worth $8 million. Wilson eventually signed 4 days later for 1 year with $10.5 million guaranteed and close to an additional $10 million in incentives connected to playing time and winning. For instance, a total of $2.5 million can be earned if Wilson plays 85% of the team's offensive snaps. There are $250,000 and $500,000 thresholds based on passer rating and another $3 million tied to winning. Wilson made sense for the Giants. He would get the opportunity to start. Dable said he's the no. One quarterback this spring, and there wasn't any long-term commitment. Wilson knew there was a possibility the Giants could draft a quarterback in the first round this year, and he was fine with that. Not all the quarterbacks available this offseason wanted to step into a situation that could have a highly drafted quarterback entering the picture, a team source told ESPN. Wilson and Winston were willing. They were the veteran quarterbacks of choice. Giants coach's first contact with Dart came at the Senior Bowl in January. Sean had already seen him throw at the Manning Passing Academy this past year, which Sean attended the past few years with his son, Carson, a high school quarterback in New Jersey. The GM attended the Egg Bowl this past season, a game where Ole Miss beat Mississippi State 26-14. Dart went 14 of 24 passing for 143 yards with a touchdown and also ran for 77 yards in that contest. New York met with Dart at the Combine in late February, had him out to the facility that first week of March and did a private workout in Mississippi several weeks later. That workout was attended by a large contingent that included Sean and Dable, offensive coordinator Mike Kafka, quarterbacks coach Shea Tierney, president of player evaluation Tim McDonnell, and senior player personnel executive and board member Chris Mara, among others. Dominated the entire process with us, Sean told Dart in their phone conversation after he was selected. That is believed to be the difference between Dart and Sanders, who both had supporters in the Giants building early in the process. Multiple coaching and front office sources in the league believe Sanders struggled during that early March visit when Dable peppered the quarterback on an install given to him the night before visiting the facility. Multiple sources told ESPN several weeks later that they spoke to individuals in the Giants organization who said they were lukewarm on Sanders. It started becoming apparent a week before the draft that they were more interested in Dart. He was Dable's quarterback of choice, a source said days before the draft. New York planned to take the best available player, Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, at pick No. 3 and then try to move into the back end of the first round. Multiple sources said on the morning of the draft it was the Giants and Cleveland Browns who had the most interest in trading back end for Dart. That was the Giants' competition. Talks about moving up became serious after the Pittsburgh Steelers bypassed a quarterback at No. 21. Sean, however, was intent on not including his first of 2 third-round picks in the deal. A source told ESPN on the morning of the draft the Giants' goal was to trade their second-round pick, No. 34 overall, and second third-rounder, No. 99, to get back into the first round. Ultimately, they also had to add next year's third-round pick to get the deal done at No. 25 with the Houston Texans. Again, we went through all these scenarios before the day started, what we were going to do at 3 and then at what point we thought it would make sense where it was important for us to hold on to pick 65, Sean later said. I'm glad we were able to hold on to that. New York further bolstered its defensive front by selecting tackle Darius Alexander at the top of the third round. Had the Giants not been able to get back into the first round and missed on Dart, perhaps they would have eventually considered Sanders. He was ultimately selected by the Browns in the 5th round. But Dable got his guy. I think he's got a lot of qualities you look for in a good quarterback, Dable said of Dart. He's tough, makes good decisions with the football, pushes the ball down the field, has athletic ability, played in a really tough conference, started there at USC as a young guy. But did a really good job throughout this process of our meetings, board work, workouts, and the tape that we liked. Look forward to working with him. Now it's a matter of figuring how it all fits together. Wilson gets the first crack at being the starter. If he performs well, that's not likely to change. Winston is veteran insurance should something happen to the 36-year-old Wilson. Dart is hope for the future. It's hard to see where DeVito, an undrafted free agent in 2023, fits considering the other 3 all need reps this spring and summer as they learn the offense.
This was their first week together, as the rookies began their integration with the veterans at the Giants' off-season workout program. So far, the quarterback room has been a good mix, even if it's very early. They've been great. Dart said the Giants' other QBs. They were some of the first people to text me when I got drafted, and I thought that was just super cool. Those are guys that I've looked up to for such a long time. I've said this before. I remember I was wearing Russell's jersey with the Seahawks when he won a Super Bowl. So, like I said, these guys have been people who I've really looked up to, and I hold them in the highest regard. So, I think for me, being in this situation, being able to be a sponge and soak in all the information that I can, will help elevate me. And then at the same time, I just want to compete and make everybody else better in the room as well. If all goes well, Dart will sit and redshirt his rookie year. If it doesn't, he'll find his way into the lineup. He's the ace up shown in Dable's sleeves to save their jobs. This is what they bet their future on. It's what that meeting back in Week 18 produced. Fellas, ladies, and everybody vibing with us today. That's a wrap on another fire episode of the Bro Code Podcast. It's your man, Terry Lester. And yo, we brought the heat today. Special shout out to my brother in the game, the one and only Wyatt. Hold it down as co-host. Bro, your energy was next level today.
You already know, T. Anytime I'm on the mic, we're dropping gems, keeping it real, and representing the code. Salute to the crew and everybody tuned in, y'all the real MVPs.
Facts. Look, if you laughed, learned, or got some game from this episode, do your part. Hit that follow, leave us a 5-star review, and share it with your whole crew. Your auntie, your barber, your side hustle homie, everybody.
And don't forget to live by the code, loyalty, respect, and always keeping it solid. No switching up, no cap pin.
We'll be back next week with more real talk, more vibes, and more culture. Served up straight, no chaser. Until then, stay locked, stay lifted, and stay loyal to the code.